Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
Well, today we're going to learn some stuff. I'm joined by money coach Dana Wolf. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. You're going to talk to me about the major components of a healthy financial plan today.
Correct.
What are they?
Good question. Good question, Katie. So there are 4 things that you really need to know about your financial health. I mean, we all go to the doctors once a year for a regular checkup, right? So we need to check our financial health as well. So we need to start off with the question, do we have a financial plan? Do we have a monthly plan like a budget? Do you have an estate plan like your wills and things like that? That's all part of your financial life. You're going to be dealing with money from the day you're born until the day you die. So having that estate plan, having a financial plan, do we need a debt reduction plan because we're in debt and we have goals that we want to meet? Do we have a tax reduction plan because we owe the IRS money or the South Carolina money, right? So that's the first section. The second section goes into what I want to call the funding, the things that we're going to fund in the future, all right? So we need to fund college education for our children. Maybe we need a wedding fund. Maybe we have some long-term goals like retiring at the age of 55, and so we want to fund our retirement. So that's another segment of your financial life. The third section would be more along the lines of legacy building.
Okay.
Are we teaching our children about finances? Because that's a huge one, okay? Are we teaching our children about our finances? Are we giving our financial wealth and building a community that we're leaving a legacy, where we're using our money for the good? So those are the first 3. And then the fourth thing is insurance. There are so many different types of insurance out there, and you really have to ask yourself, do I have the right insurance? Do I need insurance? Do I have homeowners or auto, renters? Do I have life insurance? Do I have health insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance? And there's so many out there that you really have to look at them each year and say, do I have the right coverage? Do I need more coverage? Things of that nature. So there's 4 different little pots, okay? So we've got our planning for the future pot, where we're funding things for the future. We have our now pot, and then we have our legacy pot, and then the insurances that we need to make sure that we're covered.
And you were saying this sort of thing, you should do a little checkup every
You
year.
do.
How do you do that?
It's the same way with going to your doctor, right? So at the first of the year, you might look back and say to yourself, where did my money go? Or you may do that on April 15th when you're doing your taxes, right?
Yep.
But pick a time of the year. When it comes to insurance, for example, if you know your registration is due in June and your insurance is due in June, you want to start looking 30, 60 days prior to that at your automobile insurance. Do you have the right coverage? Maybe we want to change our coverage because we have an emergency fund, and so we can change our deductible, get a lower premium if we're looking at it. Anytime there is a life change in your family, if you have a new child, if you get married, if you move, as you're turning 65, there are different things when it comes to health insurance that you have to be, paying attention to. So it has to be something that works for your schedule. Don't try to look at your finances the day before you go on vacation. But pick something, whether it's the first of the year so that you can take a look back and you can say, oh, this is where I was, this is where I want to be this year. Maybe it's over a long holiday weekend where you're just sitting around and you're like, okay, July is almost over. I got 6 months to the end of the year. Where am I? Am I meeting my goals? Do I need to change things? Do I need to change my plan? And when it comes to teaching our children, that's an everyday thing that has to happen all the time.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Joining us today on Living Local Carolina is author and speaker Marcus Gill. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Glad to have you back on the show.
I'm excited. I'm thrilled.
Yes,
Yeah.
we talked to you about content creation and what that looks like. And now today for our viewers, I wanted to talk about self-publishing for those who have been dreaming of writing a book. I know you've written a few, so
That's right.
what's your process like?
You know what? My process is all about peace and quiet, telling my story, being 100% genuine, but also being very straightforward with how I get my message across.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people think that self-publishing is difficult. It's not. You don't need so much. You don't need even a lot of labor when you're just telling your story.
Right.
And you got to be very consistent in just telling your story.
Okay, so your first step is making sure you get peace and quiet.
Peace and quiet.
Getting in a nice, quiet place.
That's right, because focus is important.
So for you, do you like try to write so many chapters at a time?
Well, sure. Yeah, that's a good question. You know, my structure is to come up with the subject matter, and I normally break the subject matter down into 10 sections.
Okay.
And then I break each subject matter down into 5 sections.
Woo! 10, 5.
And I do 1,000 words per section per chapter.
Wow.
So if I do 10 chapters, 5 sections with 5,000 words apiece, I got a $50,000 word book, and hopefully we'll make $50,000.
So what you're saying is you have an outline and you have a
Absolutely.
goal on how much content you want in each section of the book.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So are you a writer or are you more of a dictator on paper? Like for
Well, you
me.
know, I go between both.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I can do the dictation, but I also like to write because sometimes in writing, you think more.
Okay.
It's one of the things that I've realized. Writing helps us to think more. The dictation portion just is a conversation.
Right.
But writing says, I get to think. Then you can go into the depth of your story. Where if you would have done dictation, you would have had a 5-sentence paragraph. But with writing, you'll end up with a 10-sentence paragraph with more detail that's really going to impact your reader.
Okay. So
Yeah.
sitting down with pen and paper, the old school way.
Old school way.
Yes, and just writing it out.
I'm looking forward to the books that are going to be produced from your viewers.
Yes, you guys let me know what you think about this and if you've started writing. See you again next time.
Welcome to Burgess Community Garden. This is a new concept for us that we just started last year. We have this beautiful land, 5 acres, and we happen to have an opportunity to indeed grow and develop and decide what it is we're going to do on this land. One of the things I've done for a long time is I've done outreach. And so not only am I part of the Unity Burgess community, but the outreach community also, is that I was listening to a program by the Boys and Girls Club of the Southern East region, and one of the organizations, I think in Alabama, indicated that they had a food bank and a community garden. So back in 2018, we had inherited this, and then last year I thought, oh, this will be wonderful because we'll be able to bring in the Burgess community, the surrounding community that was historically Black and now is very diverse, but also all the groups of people that we work with. We work with Help for Kids, and we've long worked and supported them, as well as the Boys and Girls Club of Myrtle Beach and Helping Hand and Family Justice. What a good opportunity to indeed start to use the land to indeed provide produce and vegetables to help all the community in terms of that, because as everyone knows, or many of us know, is that hunger is still a reality. What is it we could do to invest in the community? Bringing what it is we produce and having the community help us produce some of that, the local community help us in terms of feeding those that are in need. And that's individuals, that's communities, that's organizations. So as a result of that, Ken, who is my major master only gardener at this point in time, knew what to do in terms of building the garden. So these 2 gardens were produced as demonstration gardens, and they're primarily herbs and spices and some vegetables. And so we've grown from there. I had written a grant, Home Depot indeed responded to it, so we got a $3,200 grant indeed to build vegetable beds, and that's what we did. They came out and they built 12 beds for us so that we could indeed grow the produce that is needed and necessary and wanted by the community that I have indicated earlier.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Well, one of my huge mottos in life is that you always deserve to have a sweet treat. And so today, I'm at Pawleys Island Bakery with the owner, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming over.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to take the grand tour, so why don't you go ahead and lead the way?
Come on in.
All right, thank you.
Welcome to the bakery. We've been open almost 14 years,
Okay.
serving this community well.
And I can already tell whenever you walk in here, this is just one of those spots that people love coming by, like multiple times a week. You come and get your fix, but like, what are some of the key items that are popular here?
Oh my goodness, the breakfast sandwich is the hottest item by far. People love those, it's their daily breakfast. We have cheese danishes, we have pies, we have cookies, we have cupcakes, we have specialty desserts. Our lunch sandwiches are nice and hearty, so fills you up. It's a good spot. The most important thing is this is just a chill spot to hang out. We have so many regulars and locals that come in. We have a lot of regulars that tour here. And so for us, knowing all these different smiling faces that come by, it makes it fun for us. It's a family atmosphere. We're family operated and owned, so it's a good spot to be.
So it's Tiffany Clark. I am the cake decorator. I am also the manager.
You and your husband both work here.
Yes.
It's like a big happy family.
So it's all we've ever known.
Okay.
We worked together at the last place we were at, and that's actually where we met.
I love it, I love it.
And so when I started here in May of 2020, it was the weirdest time in our relationship that we weren't working together. And so then, yeah, November of 2020, he started working here.
Was there a moment in your life where you thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Or did it just serendipitously happen?
So I've always loved baking. My dad, big baking fan. I always loved doing it. I never eat it.
Interesting.
I am a pastry chef who does not eat sweets, really. I have to really want them. When the Culinary Institute up in Market Commons announced that they were doing a full program on baking and pastry, I originally started out wanting to do cakes, and then when I started there, I still loved to do cakes, but I enjoyed doing like chocolates and stuff like that better.
That's hard.
It's fun.
That's the tough stuff.
It's
I
fun.
mean, you can really mess up a chocolate.
Yeah, no, it's temperamental, but I like that. I like the more structure. I like cooking, but cooking is kind of like fly by the seat of your pants, whereas baking is very structured, very like to the T, exact measurements, otherwise everything comes out, and I like the control of that.
Yeah, if you've ever tried to substitute like baking soda for baking powder in a
does not
recipe,
work.
that's exactly what she's talking about. So what is your favorite type of cake to decorate?
I love doing birthday cakes for people, but my favorite would always be weddings. Just to be a part of that like biggest day of somebody's life is so special. I love what I do. They always say you never work a day in your life if you enjoy what you're doing, and I do. I do love this.
So now we're back in the kitchen.
Yeah, hanging out in the kitchen.
This is where all the breakfast sandwich magic happens,
This
right?
is where the magic happens. My main man, Tanner, right here, he likes to mix it up on the grill. There's some love put in that sandwich.
You want the dynamic to be really fun. Like you want to have fun with your employees. You want everybody to have a good time while they're working here.
Absolutely.
Why is that important to you?
Life is short. You want to enjoy coming to work every day. If, like Tiffany said in there, it doesn't end up being like work if you're having a good time.
Yeah.
So, and then the customers feel that too. We want the community to feel like they walked into their second home and they're just hanging out for a little while and with their good friends.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.